So everybody, this is Nick. He's new. He's from
Good
Cardozo.
evening.
Is that right? Cardozo?
Yeah, Cardozo. It's in Manhattan. It's part of Yeshiva University.
It sounds so familiar, but
Yeah,
I'm not.
Where are you from?
South Africa.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a guy called Cardozo. He's a South African football player. That's what comes up first. Obviously not that.
It's named after Benjamin N. Cardozo. He was a Supreme Court justice.
Geez,
Yeah.
so you've been reading up on the school handbook as well. You're like, here with the facts. Right. Okay, who are we waiting for? Caroline, Quentin, some others.
Is everyone in here refusing to get their hair cut too? I know my partner won't let me touch his hair. I'm so excited for the moment when he gives in.
I would love my wife to cut my hair, but she doesn't want to.
Aww.
I cut our kids' hair, but so I'm the hair cutter.
Yeah, I've never done it before, but I'm pretty sure I'll be great at it. Maybe part of my partner's reluctance, you know?
Like confidence. Right. Do you know where Quentin is? Is he going to jump on? Should we wait for him?
No, Kate said she's going to jump on though.
I'm here.
Yeah, oh, you are there. Oh,
yeah.
I'm like, where's
a meeting that seemed like it wasn't going to end, and then it did.
I think I was getting used to your outside background.
Yeah, it's gross out.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That it is.
Wow.
Right. Well, I think we have enough people here, and I'm pretty excited because I did say that Jason, James, and Eleni were going to demo their interview, but maybe there's Caroline. Maybe we can start off with just outlining how today is going to work. I know there's a lot of confusion about Casual Friday. It's not compulsory. If you don't want to hang around, you don't have to. It just happened organically where
doesn't count for your hours. I don't know.
One day, David just asked us how we were doing, and we went off record and just spoke very openly, and we learned a lot about each other, and it was really nice to get a bit of a sense of community in this team that we're spending a lot of time with. So it is a little bit difficult to do that over Zoom, but we do try, and it is a lot of fun. So you're welcome to stay on, no obligation to. Benny, are you trying to say something? No. Okay.
Great. Yep.
Okay. So today, the structure of today's meeting is the first half hour will be the stand-up. And part of that is going to be, I think, Jason and James and Eleni demoing their interview and maybe just walking us through that. Then, well, maybe, I'm not sure about the order, we'll talk about blockers to see if anyone's having any problems, maybe get an update from the different teams, and see if there's any, we didn't assign anyone to, we're going to say that Jason and Eleni and James are going to tell us what they learned in their interview. That's going to count. We get a little readability point from Caroline. And then make sure that everyone has action points.
We're gathering those, right? Sorry. Oh, never mind. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, we are gathering those, and we're also gathering the things that people are putting in the code channel to say that things that they've learned or questions that they've had and answers that have been posted. So I'm gathering that in a kind of guide or a handbook, so to speak, like a frequently asked questions. I'm just kind of working on formatting that a little bit, so that'll be an easier place to go and look for answers. And then so then we can maybe talk about the COVID housing form that Quentin was working on and any updates from the court and stuff like that. So that's just a bit of an outline of what we're going to be doing today. And then we go into Casual Friday, which it's supposed to be informal. It's supposed to just be, maybe we can learn a little about Nick. So Nick is a new volunteer. As I said, he's from Cardozo, which was named after the justice. Wait, was that right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so maybe he'll be able to share a little bit about. So he's just jumped on, and he actually hasn't had any onboarding at all. So this might be a little bit new, but it'll come to you. Okay. So.
And I just want to throw out there for Nick. Next week we'll probably have one or two more Suffolk folks jumping on. So Nick, you can jump on with them, and we'll try to sync you up in the. That way we can catch you up with everyone else.
Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. So to start, do we want to go through blockers, or do we want to have like a Jason, James, and Eleni's project?
Show the project, and maybe that'll inform blockers a little bit.
Right. Let's go, guys. You ready? Yes. So excited.
Sure, I guess, should I share my screen?
Go, Jason. This is going to give Nick a little bit of an indication of what we're doing as well, so that might be just no pressure, you know.
All right. Can you see the Mass Access Project page?
Yep, we got it.
So yeah, basically first page. We figured out how to like set it up so you have to answer either civil or criminal.
Okay.
Same thing for this, like it has to be judgment or order of the court. Then for alimony, we have it set up so like if they do pay alimony, you click yes, and then you could specify.
Oh, show if function,
And then,
right?
yeah, and then if you get that, you get payment frequency you have to answer and amount of payment. But if you select no, you just skip those questions.
Nice.
So then, yeah, a couple yes, no questions. Health insurance is the same as alimony. Same thing. Then for the next couple of questions, we have like, yeah, if yes, then the like a follow-up question shows up that you have to answer. Same for parenting time. Same for other order. And then, yeah, the attorney pro se signature page. And then it's just like, these are the generic stuff, right? That's automatically for every form. I don't know if you want me to.
From the basic questions.
Should I go through this or?
Yeah, keep going. I want to see what comes out at the end.
All right.
Right? Does it work at the end?
It should.
Hey, look at that.
All right, so yeah, and then there's our
Beautiful
form.
That looks really, really good.
Satisfying.
I've got just one comment about the places where you say yes, or it's basically its option is to either say yes or to say next.
Yeah.
Did you guys consider saying yes or no, or is there a reason that you just said yes?
I think
everyone from the team can answer this, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, I tried like setting it up for no, but I think we'd have to go in and learn like to add new variables because they don't have something set up, which I tried doing that, but couldn't figure out. So yeah, we could always like do more work into that if you think that's better.
I think that this is a fantastic, I'm looking now at all the things that need to be checked that, according to the interview, they've been checked, which is the first thing, and things are being pulled in. I think this is looking really, really good, guys.
Thanks.
It's just a case of, maybe we can all have a look at it and maybe think about how, in our own time, and think about how it would work, maybe comments or, suggestions that we would make about usability, or, you know what I mean? That was just one of the questions that I saw that popped out as it's a bit strange just to have yes or next.
Yeah.
And I understand now the limitations that you experienced in trying to develop that, but it's also maybe a lesson that we can have next week. But otherwise, I think this looks really good. Does anybody else have any thoughts?
I definitely have some thoughts. One of them might be maybe a Quentin thing. For every single family law form, impoundment of the address absolutely must be an option. Like I would not feel safe releasing any family law form if that wasn't a way. And I don't know if that's something that maybe should be addressed through like, I don't know, basic questions but it really, I mean, I guess it can apply in other courts, but it's more of a family law thing. So I don't know,
that
like
could be
the
an
best
interesting
way
discussion
of
of
that.
How does that work,
be-
Kate? Would you still put it on this form and then you would impound the form? Or would
It's
you leave it?
impoundment of the address. If somebody's address is impounded, or if they live in a domestic violence shelter, their address must not show up. It is like, it should say anywhere it says address, it needs to say address impounded.
Okay.
And that, I would say that's an absolutely, what's the word, showstopper.
Do you think it would be enough to, like, on the screen where we ask for the person's address, to say the checkbox address impounded? Or
Address impounded or DV shelter? Yeah, I mean, because somebody should theoretically know, like, in order to impound the address, they would have filed a motion to impound. Should actually, because this is a complaint, so they
Right.
might.
This sounds like a deeper discussion, but this is part of the reason it's so excellent to have subject matter experts on board with us, because there are so many of these things that we could never plan for and never anticipate without subject matter experts here. But I do think we can come back to that, but we might want to cover kind of the rest of the stand-up first. And I think it's a good question about where it belongs, whether it belongs in its own packet or whether it belongs in this package, in basic questions, or whether it's just for each individual form. So I think that's a really, really good question.
I'm not sure. I wasn't paying attention that carefully, but Jason, did you mean to have, I thought you had somebody else as the defendant, EFW or somebody was the defendant. Was I?
Oh,
I think that was something else.
I'm not sure. I just, kind of.
Oh, because I'm just saying you might just want to check your YAML, because unless you put, there's your, the attorney was right. Okay, so
that's where testing will come in, I think.
Yeah.
We can work with an SME to identify which fields should be filled in. And I think that would be a good next step, because the SME might be able to answer questions like, should it say yes and no, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that maybe this would be ready for the testing stage, and I would love to maybe walk you guys. What, Michelle?
I think as long as that involves an SME. Like, I think
the
next stage is an SME. If that involves the testing stage, then that as well. But there might be some stuff that we can just deal with right away. Like stuff that would change the order of the form, like things about, impoundment and stuff like that, which would, require revision of testing, which we can also do. But that might be worth thinking about.
Yeah, because I definitely have comments. I don't need to go through them on this, but I think that maybe makes sense what Michelle said.
So just to clarify, is the next step then to have an SME review? Does that form part of the testing, or what are you suggesting, Michelle?
I'm suggesting an SME review, and if that reveals that the next step is testing or the next step is revision, then we go with whichever it is, remembering that there is no such thing as perfect, right?
Perfect. Okay, great.
But the thing is, Jason, do you feel like you're ready? I mean, you may want to go back and do something else before you pass it on to an SME.
I think, the only thing, if we went back and tried to figure out how to have no as an option.
That's not a showstopper. That really isn't. It's just a comment that I saw that I noticed. Right. I really think that that's good enough to go for an SME, and then SME might say that usability wise or something, it might come back better with a yes/no option. Or I think that this, just from what I've seen now, I think it's ready for SME. I think that you guys have done a really good job. And congratulations to everybody who's been putting in the work, because I know I've been working individually with a lot of you guys, and I'm so impressed with how much you've learned.
So much progress. Oh my God. It's incredible.
I mean, if you look back to 2 weeks ago.
A week ago, no one was programming. 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks 2 weeks ago.
They're two
you guys were doing great a week ago.
I do want to really quickly just emphasize that you don't have to have something ready in order to show it, in order to do a show and tell. We can learn a lot from something that isn't done as well. Not that this is done, but something that isn't in a completion state as well. So I just want to put that out there.
So I look forward to seeing, maybe we can schedule time next week to have a look at everybody else's, and maybe if Jason, Eleni, and James could go to Kate, or maybe Kate could, if she's got too much on her plate, direct them to somebody else who might be able to assist with an SME review. And then we'll talk about the other teams. Maybe I can just check in briefly with the other teams and just see make sure that everybody's kind of still working, that no one's suffering from major blockers, and if they are suffering from blockers, that they're contacting us on the code channel or the assembly line channel. So I just want to get a thumbs up from everybody that they've got next steps in terms of their interviews. Vinny and Jack, Mike, are you okay? Vinny and Jack, you guys are good?
You're muted.
Yeah,
both
we're
of
good.
you.
We were just right now. We were just actually fixing something in our code. That's why we got a little distracted.
Okay, no
Sure.
worries.
We just
No
fixed the
worries.
blocker in our Slack chat, so that was good.
Okay,
So-
good. So
Yeah.
as we speak, it's just happening. I love it. Okay,
Well, I think probably during meetings you can take a break, and it's good to
and focus on.
also.
It was like the smallest little issue, so we quickly just figured it out.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, great. I love this. So the next step would be, okay, so we've got through blockers, we've got through action points. What did I say was the next step? It's been a long week.
Oh gosh, I don't know what the next step is.
Right?
It's either casual Friday or like
No.
other blockers for other people.
The COVID housing form. What happened with that, Quentin? Did it get released yesterday? What happened?
So I've turned over ownership of that to Mariah, and I've installed her latest changes on the production server. And I said, hey, we can go ahead and publish this to the housing list, which I'm not on. But maybe Caroline, maybe you know if she's done that now? The housing coalition list I'm talking about.
You're mute.
You're on mute, yeah.
We had a communication breakdown with Quentin yesterday. So we sent something to him and he saw it this morning, and she's not working today. So I just saw Quentin so I don't think she's released it. I'll let her know and see if she's got time to send it to Housing Coalition today. If she doesn't, I'll send it.
Okay. And I did ask to get re-added to it, so I'll wait for that to happen. And then
Okay. I'll follow that up, Quentin, and see where we are with that.
Okay, so I mean, does Mariah work on Mondays?
She works on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
So is there a way that we can get this out quicker than?
Yeah, I can send it.
people I can send it to.
Yeah, there's plenty of people we can definitely get it out. I think we just wanted to see if Mariah wanted to do it. And then and even though she doesn't work, she can do little things like that. I just got the thing from Quentin. I had to finish something else up this morning, so I haven't followed up with that yet. Yeah.
Okay, if you just follow up with that maybe after the call between Quentin and Caroline. So I think I'd like to see that get launched as soon as possible. I mean, given the fact that we wanted it launched yesterday, it would be quite good to see it up before the weekend, if that's possible.
Yeah, I think we can. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then the next thing, of course,
it is up, right? I mean, it is up, and what we send it to, we would be sending it to advocates because it's not, the pro se version isn't ready yet. That's all.
Got it. Okay, right, that makes sense. The next question, of course, is.
So that means it's
released,
right?
Jody.
Sorry, Maeve. I was just going to say, so that means it is released then. We did get it released. That's great.
No one knows that.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's in private beta where no one knows it.
Oh, all right. Okay.
It's on production. It's just no one knows to use it.
I'll be like a soft yay. Okay.
Really appreciate
and then the next
I just wanted to ask about that because I'm thinking, we send one email to advocates to the coalition, and that's an email where people, we put the link in there. Do you think we ought to do something, put something on Mass Legal Services as we start to build forms that are just for advocates? So that they can go back and find the link so they don't have to go sifting through old emails? You're
thinking on the Mass Legal Services website?
Well, where you have to log in anyway, right?
Totally safe, yeah. And maybe even Mass Legal Help, but probably for this one.
Well, we wouldn't do Mass Legal Help for advocates because there's no login to Mass Legal Help.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
I don't see any reason to not do that. If we're emailing it to people, we can put it on the Mass Legal Services website.
Yeah.
Just to clarify for people, that's like a site that people who are in legal aid in Massachusetts have to log into to access.
Some portions of it, yeah. Some of it's public and some of it, but it's the Mass Legal Help for advocates, really.
Okay. All right. Next question. the next question, of course, is to David, whether we've got any more signatures, whether you can disclose anything in that regard.
I have nothing to report, but I'm optimistic.
No more. It's fine. We'll just wait in the wings. Then the last question is 209A. Is there anything that we need to report back on that? Is there anything that we need to know about that?
I think Quentin and I are going to try and do a marathon session this afternoon because some things are badly broken and some things we're trying to fix. And
in the branch that Caroline's been doing language changes in.
And Caroline, you got all my stuff, right?
Yes, Jody, thank you so much. That was really helpful, really helpful. And Kate, that we have a showstopper that's live in the private beta right now as well. So we've got to get that taken care of.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the PDF that was an addenda, was kind of an addenda test that I gave Lily? I think probably she's solved a lot of the problems there, but just there were, I think, also indications of what we might want to think about either for addenda or character limits or something like that. I don't know if that's where you're at right now, but if that's where you're at, it might be useful.
I think that's a great idea for us to look at, but I don't think it's going to really, I don't think it will add to what Caroline's working on right now to try to also think about addenda.
Okay.
I think there's a pull request outstanding for that too. I don't know if you'd had a chance to look at that yet, Michelle.
Yeah, I'm wondering, I actually think some of the I'll talk to Quentin about it because I think there's a problem with the addenda code in the version I'm looking at. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And it won't have these fixes, that's the pull request that's still outstanding.
Okay, if you want me to look at that, I can. I wasn't sure who was looking at 209A stuff. So, or like, I don't think I was assigned. Was I?
I don't know, but it was just, I think it was your feedback that it was based on.
Okay, we talked about assignments. Maybe we need to talk about like how to identify clearly who can or who is supposed to or isn't supposed to touch particular pieces of code. I understood we were waiting for assignments, so we can be maybe a bit more clear about that. And yeah.
Okay, that wraps up everything that I wanted to say. The only thing that's outstanding really is I'm hoping that somebody applied their mind on how we are going to give credit to people who've worked on the various forms, from testing to developing to, if anybody's touched that form, we want to give them credit. And I did say yesterday, if you could just look at that message and think about it, but I know everyone's got a lot on their plates. So if you haven't even had a chance, maybe we can just think about how you've seen people get credit in software before. And Nick, you're welcome to weigh in here as well. So does anybody have any thoughts?
So I've seen people, sure.
Okay, Michelle, yeah, go.
I've seen people get credit on like GitHub repositories, which can be kind of a safer place where like it's not as many, especially if the location of the code isn't up advertised front and center. It can be a safer place for people to put their names, less likely for, in case there are concerns about filers trying to get in touch, or pro se, people trying to get in touch. I've also seen it listed on kind of about pages, and we have the bios page, but I know, I think as long as people understand what they might be getting into when they give their name, I think most people can make a decision about, what risks they want to take and what, what kind of, how they want to get appreciation and credit for the work they've done.
Okay, so I think that Quentin meant.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
I think that Quentin mentioned that I don't want to say it wrong. Nyota, do it, and
Nyota
you could
logic.
just explain how, Nyota. Can you just explain how they do it? But you've seen them.
Kevin always says very carefully. Sorry. Yeah, so Kevin, who I've mentioned, is someone who teaches a lot of these Nyota logic classes at law schools, but he's also one of the directors at Nyota logic, or as an position of the administration of the organization too. And so what he says is he has his students, when they do projects in his classes, they actually put a photo and a little information credit that goes with each interview. And what the value that he says that has includes both showing the limits, right, of an interview. It's created by a person, so it gives you a sense of like who worked on this, like what was the work that went into producing something that's giving you an answer. And it lets people feel good about the work that they did when you're the person who's the author. And I think those are really like kind of the main functions from that point of view. I think for our project, I have another function, which is showing not just the limits of it, but also, the total amount of effort that went into a project like this that involves dozens of people.
Yeah,
that's
exactly my thought, right? The latter is very important. People might not appreciate how much time and effort or how many people have touched various interviews at various stages. And I think that it's important that people can see that.
I also think it's worth considering people like gathering volunteer hours from the people who have worked on it and kind of keeping track of that. And we could say this many hours has gone into this work, right? Because that could be also, I mean, if that is something we want to highlight, kind of the amount of effort that's gone into it, right?
I'm curious, just to go back to this idea that so that we can show the world how much work goes into one interview or so. Just to play devil's advocate, why do we need to show the world? I mean, I'm not trying to say that we want them to think that it's easy, but I'm not quite sure why. What are we trying to achieve by saying this takes more effort than you might realize? What are we trying to prove or show? Or
different audience there than the
different audience
interview. That's more for court, other partners,
okay,
other people
who are going to replicate.
So it's like a funding. It's in a way, it's like a funding presentation, so that they. Yeah. Okay. I just wasn't quite sure.
Also that. So like, for example, the court's not giving us any money to do this project.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I understand.
But there are points where they might think that things like a fillable PDF are kind of equivalent. And it might be helpful to show, hey, this actually.
It's kind of like attaching a value to something.
Yeah.
There's also people.
Is there?
Yeah, that's our groceries actually, and we'll see what we get. We ordered a bunch of stuff that we're like, I don't know if that's gonna make it this time. But there's also like I at Code for Boston at least have had a lot of difficulty trying to express to people the amount of work that something will take, because there's this view that technology is, you just kind of open up a box and it's there. Like websites exist a dime a dozen. Why should this take so much effort or so much time? And I think changing that culture, I think that's worthwhile personally.
I guess also, especially when they see the kinds of people that are, it's not just as somebody sit down and coding it. If they see that the different kind of input that each interview needs. Yeah, I was just curious I thought that's what it was, but I might as well ask to see if that's what we're.
That's good.
No, it's a really
good. Now I'm going to put it out to everybody else. No pressure if you don't feel like talking today, but if you do, I would love to hear your thoughts. And I'm going to give you, again, 10 seconds. Really slow 10 seconds, Michelle. For anybody to raise their hands. And, if you think, I'm just thinking like gaming and stuff like that, where you see credits. I don't know if I'm the only one who looks at that, but okay. You got 10 seconds.
I think it's a great idea, everything that you guys are talking about.
Thanks, Jody.
Credits and number of hours that go into it. I think those are both good things that just, it never hurts anything. So if it's not a huge effort for us to do that, it's just a value add. So I say do it.
Okay. I like that a lot. And as we said, people whose bios are going to be up already, so they would be able to access the bios in any event. Right. So that's all for stand up. It's 1:00 on the dot. If you want to stay around and talk a little bit, you're more than welcome to. But if you've got work, I know it's been a busy week for a lot of people. If you want to jump off and, do something else, you're more than welcome to. But maybe I should actually open the forums to see if there's anything that anybody else wants to add. Nope.
I
Yeah.
think it might be worth talking about, maybe not now, but sometime talking about phase 2 and kind of make a more formal, structure about like what is going into that and how it's going to be set up and stuff like that.
On Casual Friday?
No, that's why this is a thing I'm going to set up for another time, right?
Am I flagging that? Am I flagging that right now?
You're flagging it. That's it.
It's a Casual Friday yet, guys. I've got such a cool background. Sorry,
oh, really? Oh, you've worked out the background. It's exciting. And I just wanted to flag the UI bit that Quentin dropped in for court selection. It seems like my understanding is that we have it sort of functionally good. We just need to figure out if the UI is something we want. And there, I'm just going to say right now, the UI is sending people to the court's website to look at the directory. So just about anything's better. So low bar, but we don't want it to be confusing. So if people want to kick the tires on that and give comments, that would be much appreciated, because we'll probably, hopefully.
Are you talking about in the 209A, the court selection?
The court selection in all forms. So Quentin
okay.
dropped something in the main assembly line channel, which is just a test form that just says like, choose a court type and give an address or addresses, and then it gives the court selection.
I did notice when I was testing yesterday in the 209A, when I went to select the court, those duplicates were gone. That the ones that were there last week, those duplicates were gone.
It doesn't make sense.
Good.
They're not really duplicates. They're 3 superior courts.
They just look like the text, from a text perspective, from a user perspective, they were duplicates, and those were gone. Right. Like I couldn't even pick Middlesex because that's the one I looked for. So I don't know what you changed, but I couldn't pick Middlesex yesterday because that's what I looked for.
For the superior court. So what you're saying is the superior courts were not listed.
It's that, yes.
Okay.
I'm telling you
also, if Jody, if you're
able to deduce what
if you're looking at the 209A, that might not be pulling in Quentin's latest UI for it. Also, that might be something else.
Yeah. Well, the thing I mentioned explicitly is something
version?
else. Yes.
Is that what you were looking at, Jody?
I'm sorry, what?
Were you running Caroline's branch that she's working in?
I was using the link you posted that I tested with last week to test what Caroline did.
That shouldn't have changed in the last week and a half.
I wonder if there were, did you keep track of your inputs? But maybe this is a conversation that we
this is better. I just wanted to flag for people to look at the UI.
Yeah, I have a couple ideas. I have a couple thoughts. So maybe another time we can get into it.
Put them on the thread. Yeah.
All right. I will try to find that thread. If I can't, I'll let you know. It's probably somewhere. I just what?
It's just like 3 messages up, so it should be pretty easy to find.
Yes, but it is on a specific channel, so I will look for it, and it will probably be easy to find. That's good. I'm just telling you, I don't know where it is. Cool.
Is it on the main channel, Quentin?
Yep.
Great. Thank you.
I'll just forward it to you, Michelle.
That sounds amazing. Thank you, Maeve.
I don't see a link here though, Quentin. What was?
Is there not a link to it? Yeah, no, it is. It's the one that says the 1002 message.
1002. Right. Let me just.
I want to remind everyone who has to get it. And I also just want to remind everyone who has to get me timesheets to get me their timesheets. I think I feel like I should have one more than I do. So please double check that you have sent me one.
You've got one too
many. And if you don't have to
timesheets?
get me shine, I got one too few.
Oh.
That'd be me. You need mine.
Okay, there we go.
All right. Okay, well, I think that's it for Standup, right, guys? You can either jump off, stay on, and we're just gonna have I guess half hour. I don't know, limit it. Just a chat. We spoke about people's sports last time, so if you're into sport, if you're not into sport as well, you can. I don't know.
There's no guarantee about what we will speak about.
No. But we do now know, to catch people up, we know that we have boxers in our midst, rock climbers, runners, fencers.
Can I change my background? Are we still recording?
Oh, okay, here, I'm gonna go. Oh yes, here we go. Goodbye, recording.
Okay.